You said the future is bright, so what are you doing to collaborate with the tourism sector, tourism and hotel? What are you doing to work together? What kind of plans do you have? It could be to promote, it could be to change some of the things, the basic things. What are you doing in that regard?
I think what Lieutenant God has mentioned, that there is a willingness now by the Ministry of Culture and Tourism to establish a national tourism think tank. Members are from different fields, professionals in tourism, hotel, and others, including journalists. So this group is quasi-government. It's not totally government. It is independent. It works independently. It has so many tasks just to assist the development of tourism in this country, reveal problems or challenges facing the sector, conduct various researches, organize meetings, trainings, discussions with relevant stakeholders, and then make it public as well, so that people understand what type of challenges are, and finds forward, what to do in the future. Advise independently. I said independently. Just so whatever is there has to be told correctly, because it's research-based, knowledge-based information. So for that, we really thank very much the Ministry of Culture and Tourism, particularly the ministers. Finally, they have accepted this one. They were willing. And this National Tourism Think Tank was established some 4 months ago. We are still new, but we have had certain meetings. Hopefully, what we have been doing some 20, 30 years ago, we start doing it now. That's the main problem. We don't build up on what we have. So this is a very big problem. And so we are planning also to identify areas of interventions like trainings, capacity building, policy and regulatory issues, which will be important, to enhance the development of tourism in Ethiopia, and we freely forward it to the implementing agencies and also to the regulatory bodies. This is one good thing, but it's a new one.
That's really excellent to know. Like you have mentioned a very good point, because the tourism sector is lagging behind because there's no fixed system. Whenever a political appointee changes, the whole thing changes. We have to start from the scratch. That's one problem. So while we are winding up our discussion on hotel and tourism, is there anything that you'd like to say it could be to the government, to the tourists, to the general public, that you would like to say? Let me give you your chance. Shall I start with Doctor?
Thank you. The only thing I can say is, I always mention in many of my papers, any country developing tourism, to that matter even, or any economic activities, have to focus on human capital. Human capital is a very, very important thing. But in our country, we don't utilize even what we have. I mentioned always as a good example East Asian tigers, particularly Singapore. If you see Singapore, 1980s, they are not very rich country. They don't have any resources. Even the territory is less than Addis Ababa territory. They don't have any natural resource. There is nothing, no agriculture, no nothing, nothing. Simply people they have. What they were doing in 1980s was simply living in re-export. They don't produce, they don't have factories even. What they do is they import things, semi-processed things from Japan or China or other places. They just add value, simply packaging, labeling, things like that, and then sell it. This is called re-export. So that's their main business. It's funny, but the whole country was living like that. But they were very serious. They invested on their human capital. They are one of the highly educated people now in the world. Highly educated people. They invested on that, and they treat, their people accordingly. So everybody loves, every Singaporean loves Singapore. Surprisingly enough, they become, one of the regional powers in the 90s and after 2000. But surprisingly enough, last year, the only Eastern Asian country after Japan, they were graduated to a first level country, what they call them, the richest country in the world. Like, for example, even China is China is a developing nation, even India and others, but they are a developed nation status. They graduated to that last year. Unbelievable. The whole secret behind there is their human resources. They invested highly, seriously. They just keep it also growing and carrying it, and that's it. But Ethiopia, there are so many things to do, to invest in the human capital. Otherwise, whatever beautiful plan you have, whatever resources you have, you cannot tap it. You cannot be beneficial out of it. There must be a human touch in it. Because there is a fear, if some educated person come in place, if the boss is not educated, he thinks that he's going to lose his place for that guy. So that's a very bad concept. So there must be a policy of placement.
And we have to give
merit
attention to the human resource in general.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. We have to nurture our human resource, and the ones that are qualified, we have to really take care of them for them not to go to other countries. So
even they change professions. They're trained in tourism, they go in other businesses because they are not satisfied in place where they work. That's a big problem. So there must be a merit-based management in human resource in all, in the country, because whatever you do is based on human. There is a human touch in it. So, as I have said, I mentioned Singapore. That's their secret for development. Even not only Singapore, many other countries follow, but Singapore is a real example. That's why I mentioned it. But in Ethiopia, we undermine, the importance of handling our resources and also appreciating our resources. This is a policy issue. So this, I think, has to be changed when we think of transforming the country to a higher level.
That's good. That's good. Let's second.
Really, first of all, thank you very much, Judith, because inviting us here to participate, especially with the tourism. And thank you very much, Afri Health also. Regarding about my message for the Ethiopian government, because of now the Ethiopian government, especially Dr. Abiy Ahmed, really working, helping us tourism, because one is starting for the Addis Ababa River project, and also the city cleanliness of this Addis Ababa cleanliness. In addition to that, also the Lalibela project also as well. But we need a real help, especially from Dr. Abiy Ahmed, to focus on tourism. You see, now Ethiopia is 100 million people, and we are focusing only gold and coffee. But within 100 million people, we need tourism. Tourism, it just easily get dollars, a lot of $1 billion for this country. So we are here to work with the Ethiopian government, our government, we professionals. Really, Dr. Abiy will focus on tourism and hotels. Ethiopia really will help, will get benefited to that. I'm sure you will do it. This one, you will listen to me today. And also, we are here, also behind you, to work together with the Ethiopian government.
Okay. Thank you very much, our panelists, our experts. Thank you for that very insightful discussion. That's all we have for this edition of African View with me, Edith Admasu, and our two hotel and tourism experts. Till next time, goodbye. And before I go, I want to say something in Swahili. Thank you for watching us or something.
Asante sana. Jambo.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's all.
Next week on African View.
Greece and Ethiopia go even closer together and continue strengthening the bilateral relations.
Greek history being played by an Ethiopian actors and actresses. How was it received?
Ethiopians perform in front of 9 ministers, 4,000 people. If I offer something, I help you better, and then we cooperate, teamwork, to satisfy your needs.